we're just gonna get going. So, the last session, all of you negotiated a very tense ceasefire. Um, the inheritor in which you interacted with previously, she's definitely getting to that stage of defecting from the inheritor. Is definitely not coming with allegiance. As mentioned, the ship that she possesses, the Jaeger class, would be stripped down to a civilian status. Still kept keeping a phaser strip to defend itself should it need it. It will reduce its warp capability doing that. Rather than the Jaeger class having its standard warp of warp 8, it will then drop to warp 6 as a max. Um, and the crew and such would be allowed to leave. That will take time. In that time, all of you have begun doing mission prep and have going over data of this rogue planet and seeing its defenses, sending out scouts to figure things, determine the risk value of applying such a mission. The mission is necessary. That much can be determined. As you're looking through this, Captain Phillips, you would be looking in probably the ready room, looking at Holofeed, looking at this rogue planet that kind of tucked away within a nebula that's a little hidden. And the few scout shuttles that you have sent out, there are three major problems with it. Getting on the ground, that mission part is a mystery. You have no idea how that will go, but you do know that there are three key elements that will make getting on the ground difficult. Namely, three vessels. A very armored and heavily weaponized Navar class Klingon battlecruiser, which, if you don't remember, they're the size of a Galaxy class ship. They are massive. They are huge, and they are violent in their firepower. Equally so, the shuttles that have scouted off in the distance and using scans only have determined two other particular singularity signatures, Romulan. And using long-range view screens, they were able to determine through various watches and stances that not only is this Navar class battlecruiser likely to be a problem, there are also two Romulan Scimitar class that are patrolling around the planet. Without a doubt, these are warships and something that should be feared and also well respected should a conflict arise. Looking at this, Captain, you can tell that you really don't have a choice. You might have to go in with a fleet of some kind. You're a little far
At
away.
least,
Oh, there you go.
well, I'll say at least I have my status this week, Captain. I can use that 'cause I think I'm going to be using that tonight.
Yeah, the
Yeah, 'cause I still need to promote me and Alaska, and I'm still carrying those two cases with the pips in them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a
Speaking of that,
question, Joe.
Yes.
I don't know much about Star Trek, the standard Star Trek Romulan ship's cyber warfare suite.
The standard cyber.
Most ships don't have a fully functional, unshackled AI on board.
Correct, and Romulans in particular don't at all.
Yeah, I'm just saying I might be able to offer an advantage here as long as Captain Phillips is willing to promise me minimal casualties.
Yeah, but
And
that's something.
if there's any way of disabling the ships instead of facing them head on, that would be much preferred.
That's something you gotta talk to the captain on that about.
Yes, I'm packaging all of this into a memo as soon as I get the actual capabilities of the Klingons' cybersecurity from Joe.
Okay, so Romulan security, pretty pretty intense. Um, just because they're by nature paranoid. Um,
Understandable.
Klingons, on the other hand, are a little more prideful. Um,
Oh, did I
you
mess up?
can.
I thought you said Romulan.
I did say. I did say Romulan. You mentioned Klingon as well,
Oh,
though. Romulan definitely more secure. That's not to say you couldn't do it. You would probably just have more challenges and adversities to face than you would a Klingon cruiser. Both have their inherent dangers. You have one advantage in particular. Should you need to, you could be both corporeal and non corporeal, so long as your physical body is not present.
that's true. I wasn't even thinking about actually bringing my mobile platform over to the ship. I was thinking purely just at range, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. Okay, I would basically say all of what I just said in a memo to Captain Phillips that if he's willing to entertain the possibility of attempting to disrupt the ship without a full frontal space fight, I might be able to launch a cyber attack on the ship,
Okay.
and at the very least, make things easier while they do some actual physical damage in the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
So
just a possibility. If you wanted to try something that was less like risking entire ships.
yeah, so he will see the memo. So that's not a bad idea. It's better than the other options I had. And
And then
he
we could
will.
have a. Oh, sorry, I just wanted to add a little addendum at the end of the memo. Uh,
Well, you go ahead. You want to say anything else?
or more a frantic second post that NPC Neshik could probably coordinate pretty easily with me from that
hmm He
from
would
a
see the
distance.
memo. Yeah, he'll see the memo and he will say, huh, that's not a bad idea. He will send a memo back. He'll send a memo back to Prissy and a CC to Neshek stating that he wants this plan, how fast can you get this plan done, and how much time and people do you need to execute said plan.
Um, there's a short space of time before there's a response. It's a text-based response as Neshik is being stretched thin right now, trying to work out communiques and relays given all the scouts that have happened recently. Uh, but she has effectively the amount of space given is that feeling of the three dots on the text that just keep going before it gets sent. And eventually, you get a message back. It will. This is something that that's easily done when not under duress. When under duress, using Apricity's mobile platform to be able to transfer the data, unfortunately, it is a short variance to transfer it onto another vessel of a foreign make that's not meant for it. Because it's utilizing other tech. Doing the math in my brain here. One, whichever vessel is the target, you'd have to get pretty close. And by close, probably by Star Trek standards, really close. About 5,000 kilometers.
Yeah, that's cutting it close.
That's extremely close, and you would have to. You would likely have to use the USS Hera to implement this plan.
I
On
mean,
top of that, the transfer to modify all the tech from a foreign space, from two separate foreign spaces, will take, by Neshik's estimation, it will take 180 seconds. 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's like 3 lifetimes for me.
can't
The
wait.
the so it's very doable when not under duress. The problem is a scimitar is not just going to let you do that. The Hera has a blade of hull armor. It has modular shielding, reflective deflectors. However, it's not the fact that there's one scimitar that you might have to deal with. It's the fact that there's two in a Nagvar cruiser. You will be able to do it. However, for everything to work with minimal casualties, pretty much everything has to go right.
Okay. Question.
Yes.
What if I like try a fishing attack?
A fishing attack? Well, you know.
Like it's unfortunately the largest the largest gap in security is always the end user.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Like if nobody bites, we can reassess the plan as needed. But like if I can get somebody to just accept some malicious software onto the ship, then even one of the ships. A person who would at least try it, even if it doesn't have any, even if nobody bites.
Okay. Wow, this is. I guess we're making a fishing roll. Hold on. This is a new one for me. I don't think I've
I
ever
can make
had.
a point. I can make a point to go fishing with an F on Thursday if you need.
Oh my god. Um.
Yeah, do I need to roll something here?
Yeah, I'm looking because this is a weird one.
Just please let it be daring and not presence.
This is weird. It's gonna be a daring security because you are trying to. Daring security
Alright.
and a difficulty of 2.
Alright. I don't have anything that would help here. This isn't in my normal wheelhouse. I'm not normally trying to hack people. Or at least not like this. I mean, I guess this could fall into living with your ideals. One of my values. Or violence solves nothing because I'm attempting to prevent physical violence
Yeah,
by
I'd say that would
Okay, and
apply here.
what do my values do for me again? I'm sorry.
Uh, they're gonna grant you I believe it's an automatic success.
Non-access? Okay. Um that's good because I rolled a 8 and a 13 and only one of those is pass. So
Okay, that's all you need. Um, there's it's a little surprising how fast it was kind of just accepted into the ship's systems. Uh, what you kind of assume to happen is it was kind of like just a pop up that happened, and they just kind of hit OK and swiped it away.
I sent a frantic memo to Neshik and Captain Phillips. Oops. I accidentally did it already.
Oh my god. Oh, delightful.
Would Alaska be getting that info too?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll CC you into. You're the captain of security, so you should probably know that I accidentally hacked the other ships.
Perhaps write in a software that would disable weapons and shields at a certain time in a fight.
I don't know about that one, Chief. That sounds like something that somebody could take advantage of with weapons on our side. Adversity isn't sending that. Um. Well, let's see. What do I have? What? Let me go. Let me go shifting through my newly acquired access. What could I feasibly get done on this ship that I can determine without raising suspicion? Like, I'm not sticking my fingers into every secure file on the ship. I'm just seeing what I have access to without setting off any red flags.
Let me think really quick here. With a Romulan vessel, that doesn't set off too many red flags. A Scimitar class ship has a disgusting number of disruptor banks. Like an absolutely gross fucking number. I think it's 42. You could probably, within a reasonable space, you would maybe be able to, just something that couldn't be seen or noticed right away is draining, kind of just allocating power systems to other places where, like, non-essential systems, you might be able to allocate, like, 20% of the ship's power elsewhere and make it look like it's still feeding power. What that might do is it might mess with thrusters, impulse, and for sure it will fuck up their cloaking device if they use it at an inopportune time.
Congratulations. Their HVAC is suddenly receiving just as much power as it could possibly want.
That's just you installing Chrome. So Chrome has been installed.
Please stand by. We are installing Chrome.
But yeah, I will mention the fact that I seem to be easily able to acquire access to at least part of the disruptor array. I would have to potentially trip some security tape to figure out what more I could do.
And where are you doing this? On the bridge or in your office?
I don't know where my mobile platform is.
Uh,
Let's just say it's at the hospital.
yeah, you'll probably be at the hospital. That makes sense.
It doesn't really matter where. It doesn't really matter where Persidy's physical body is.
Not even
Like
a
you
little
can
bit.
access them from. You can access them from your fucking data pad if you need to, as long as you're on the ship.
Doctor, do you think you could download their ship logs? The captain's in particular.
Can I download the captain's logs? How secure is? I assume the captain isn't the one who I fished, so I don't
No.
know.
Yeah, leave me out of it.
No, not you. The Romulan captain.
Okay then.
Um,
Although that being said, I am going to send a phishing attack to our ship.
Okay. Doing what?
Why?
It's a security test. Now I'm worried after how quickly the Romulans accepted mine.
Yeah, that's fair.
There is a bit of space and time doing that, and eventually there is. You're just blocked out of there.
Good, good, good. I am happy. I am happy. We didn't get hit. Yay.
I will send a very sheepish memo to the captain.
Just, they passed, screenshot, thumbs up.
Alaska frowns and says, I will have to have a talk with that crew.
But yeah, am I able to get to the captain's log without raising red flags, or is it on a separate system?
It's on a separate system. You are able to get on, like, probably not like a sub-commander, but maybe like a sub-lieutenant's crew log, and are able to. Romulans, unfortunately for themselves, are very methodical. And in doing such, their logs are detailed. Most notably is their rotation, their orbit, and their time of security sweeps.
I'll actually send that off to Alaska with Phillips as the CC.
Yeah, keep in mind this is only one scimitar that you've gotten a hold of, but that's, a little over 30% of the puzzle. And that was better than 0%. As you get...
I might be able to do something more aggressive once subtlety is no longer a concern, but for now I'm just going to keep an eye on the general status of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to make sure that they're getting as much air as they could possibly need.
Good. Alright.
Meanwhile, I'm doing like fucking open heart surgery or something.
Saving a life while scamming another.
The Apricity way.
But moving off to Alaska, as your public display has gotten you nothing but a ton of higher up publicity that you might not have wanted.
I direct all inquiries to Admiral Vale and her office.
Rude but understandable. However, there is a interesting message that pops up for you, and it's it's a message that you were not expecting to see. It's a secure transmission from Admiral Dax.
I take it in my office with the privacy screen fully up and let the feed come through the computer.
Alright, the setting is one that you are at least familiar with. The office is kind of this dark beige color with hints of red and brown. The large ovular window behind, and a very distinctive baseball that sits to the left. Commander,
Admiral,
I hear you got some excitement out in Horizon.
more excitement than I would like, but one can't choose.
Well, that's not true, Commander. I'm here to offer a different mission once your current crisis is resolved, if you wish to take it.
Oh?
You should be able to see it on the feed. She kind of types something off on a screen right about now. And there is a data packet that sends through.
I will open the data packet.
Okay, one moment.
Hopefully this mission won't involve a fake death.
No, it will not.
I've had more than enough of those in my life.
Where is it? Nope, it's not that. I lost my sheet. Where'd it go? Why does this happen to me?
Too many documents.
And the notes are becoming sentient.
Don't do that.
They're rearranging themselves when you don't look.
There we go. I found it. Set before you is an Intrepid class variant. One has already left Horizon Station and is currently star charting the closer regions of the Delta Quadrant. Unexplored as they are, this is a Pathfinder class vessel. So just a little bit larger and a little bit more technologically advanced.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a little unconventional to put a commander in charge of a vessel, but our talks here at Deep Space Nine have shown great promise, and we took a great stride Though you will be watched every step of the way, both by Starfleet and by the Dominion. This is the USS DeSoto.
Ah, so I'm to explore the Gamma Quadrant.
Yes, should you decide to take the commission, there is no need to rush with the decision.
Well, this is one reason why I did join Starfleet. And I give Admiral Dax a knowing. And you know my history, Admiral.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Your lifetime's longer than mine. It's strange.
But something that you would understand in that it's important to keep things interesting. And exploring the Gamma Quadrant, I would have the time to explore it. Although my crew might change over the years.
Don't misunderstand, Commander. We would not be sending you as the sole Federation ship. You would simply be... You'd be our pseudo-flagship for the Gamma Quadrant. We'd send you with... if I did the logistics, I think we'd be sending you with 4 other ships that would be roughly doing second contact, humanitarian, and trade. Yours would be a primary explorer, as the Pathfinder class is meant to do.
Understood, Admiral. And it also helps that, thanks to certain member of an Omega Continuum, I have the Dominion is at least aware of me now.
Still treading on eggshells.
Indeed. But I will discuss... Am I free to discuss this with Captain Phillips?
You are.
Then I shall inform him of this as well. But, as you said, I do not need to make a decision right now.
No, and given your current situation, I doubt now would be an ideal time.
Indeed not. Would I at least be able to begin the process of choosing my crew?
For the most part. There are some parts you will not have any control over, and that will be for the Council of the United Federation of Planets to decide for you. On top of the 162 crew members that you will be assigned and chosen, partially, the 13 other members, you will have passengers. They will be part of a diplomatic corps.
Understandable, considering that we will have dealings with the Dominion during our exploration.
Well.
And hopefully no one from Section 31 will be on board my ship.
Oh, they won't. I promise you they won't. I've already had a distinctive and lengthy talk with Admiral Janeway, and she will not let it happen.
Well, thank you for letting me know of this opportunity, Admiral.
Well.
I suppose I should also change from yellow to command red if I'm going to eventually be in command of that ship.
As someone who's been an XO of a station for so long, I would have assumed you would have by now, but... old habits, perhaps?
Old habits, and security has always been one of my most interests.
Well, you're gonna have to learn how to adjust, because the DeSoto's a science ship.
Just because it's a science ship doesn't mean it can't pull above its weight.
Oh, she definitely can. She's 3 times more powerful than Chakotay's Voyager.
But I won't rub it in his face.
I can think of a few officers that wouldn't appreciate that.
Indeed, including a certain friend of mine in intelligence.
She's done pretty well.
I heard they were opening a new branch in Madrid.
No, they're not opening a new branch in Madrid. The Madrid office has been open for quite a while now. She has moved up from a stationary agent in charge to I believe it's a director now?
Aye. How things change.
It was very hard to convince her.
But be as that may, I should go inform the captain of this.
Very good. I figured I'd send the message your way anyways. Wasn't sure if you'd read it now or later, but...
Well, it's not every day that an admiral calls upon you.
Oh. I like Horizon Station. It has a familiar feeling for me.
I'm sure it does.
Good luck, Commander.
You too, Admiral.
The feed switches off.
And where would Captain Phillips be?
Probably his ready room still, looking through, and probably at ops, would be my guess. Simply because that's where all the, like, planning stages is. Just because it's one of those things where they're just trying to figure out, like, as Apricity stated, minimal casualties, like, as minimal as possible. Horizon's already taken quite a beating of casualties, and more casualties will not look good on a record of any kind.
No, and Alaska has been thinking hard about that as well as she makes her way up to ops, data pad in hand with the packet that the Admiral sent her.
Mhm.
And she will chime the door to the ready room.
Captain Phillips, there is a chime at your ready room. You are muted. Hold on.
He's dead.
I do not know if you're speaking or not, but you are muted if you are. Oh no, what if it was one of those poor timing things, muting for a moment to step away to grab something and then...
It always is.
But before she went to the captain's office, she would have also done a little search of her own.
Okay. Searching.
Have we been talking to members of the inheritors who have been to that base or anything?
A couple of them. They haven't been, like, inside it very often, but there are a couple that may have, like, a little bit of insight.
Alaska would have interviewed them in the intervening days, and she's trying to see if this splinter group is part of something else.
Okay.
Maybe a rogue faction within a rogue faction.
called it. Just the little bit out of that. It definitely feels like it's a splinter group of a splinter group. Specifically because the way some of the inheritors talk about them is hesitant and a little weary. The inheritors definitely had the problems with authoritative figure, but even biowarfare is a bit much for them.
Mm-hmm. And it's specifically the biowarfare that part that has Alaska concerned, because a certain adversary in her past was very fond of using biowarfare
Mm-hmm.
in World War III.
Yeah. But given as you were able to pull a little bit of that, Captain Phillips, there is a chime at your ready room. Are you still muted? Question mark.
No.
Oh,
I'm.
Interesting.
But yeah. So I said, "Who is it?"
It's me, Captain Alaska.
Just the person I was waiting for. Enter.
And I will enter the ready room with the data pad and bringing up the information and then presenting it to the captain. Well, it seems that I've been given an opportunity for later on.
I would look at the data pad and say, well, you earned it, and you also earned this. He will open the case for Alaska and turn it around and say, this came from Starfleet Command itself. You are now a full commander. The pips to go along with it.
Well, they've promoted you. I expected that I would get a promotion at some point.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't promote the rest of my senior staff.
Well, most of them are already commanders.
True.
But the data packet that you're looking at, Captain Phillips, is the Pathfinder class vessel. The only Pathfinder class vessel that was New Horizon is, at this stage, 272 light years away and into the Delta Quadrant, which is the USS Voyager. As her previous incarnation's namesake, she is charting away the nearer portions of the Delta Quadrant that never got explored. The USS DeSoto, which is the ship that has been offered to Alaska, give after the Horizon Inheritor crisis is all finished and done with. Is to be given the rare and very interesting opportunity of exploring the Gamma Quadrant.
As soon as he read that, his eyes went wide. The Gamma Quadrant, that's rare. No one and all Starfleet has ever been given that opportunity.
And apparently it is one for which why Admiral Dax was pulled away from Horizon to negotiate such an arrangement with the Dominion.
So you only work with Admiral Dax then if you take this offer.
Admiral Dax, and apparently there will be 5 ships under me.
You actually are able to pull
feel?
up the ships too. They're not as large as the. They're not as large as the Pathfinder. They're slightly smaller ships. Mostly second contact ships.
Yeah, after pulling up the information, I say, so did you accept it, or was you gonna wait until after we're done with this crisis before you say yes?
I have tentatively told her yes, but it depends on how the situation with the inheritors and this rogue faction is handled.
Well, I, for one, say congratulations are in order.
Thank you, Captain. And she said that
I'm going to miss having you around the station.
Me too. But the call of exploration is strong in Starfleet.
Yes, it is.
The Admiral also said that I can begin selecting the majority of my crew, although she said that there are 13 who I will not be able to choose, as they will be, I think the implication was that they were ambassadorial staff.
They were ambassadorial staff. Whether they were aid or actual ambassadors was unclear, but you can make the educated assumption that at least 3 of them will be full-on ambassadors. The rest might be aides or diplomacy experts or linguists or something of the like, but it's not unusual and it doesn't come as a surprise as to why they would add that to your crew.
But I don't need to start doing that now because we have the inheritor problem to deal with. Which reminds me, if we're trying to do what Apricity is suggesting, and we might be able to ask the Romulans for a temporary cloaking device for the Hera. For this one mission.
I mean, if they'll lend it to us, if we mention we're going after the inheritors and their traders that they have, I know they probably had some traders that went with them. We mentioned that we're going after them. They might be able to lend us an aid, as stuff generator too.
And I'm sure they would like the 2 Scimitar class ships back.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure you got the memo from our chief medical officer, and if the plan works, yeah, they get the ships back.
So who is the highest ranking Romulan on the station is probably the one I would probably ask for this favor.
It'd probably be the same diplomatic individual that you recently dealt with.
Oh, the one that assisted us with the negotiations with the Omega Continuum.
Mm-hmm.
But this is us asking for a cloaking device, so I'm sure the New Republic military would want to say on it.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
There is a sub commander that you are able to get into contact with. He's Romulan, probably from the northern area of Romulus, or what was Romulus. As kind of is looking at this odd request. A cloaking device.
Well, considering that there are 2 Scimitars and a Negvar in the region, going in guns blazing would not be a sound idea.
That's true.
And I would offer this in much the same way that we had our arrangement with the Defiant. Initially, only a Romulan would be allowed to operate the cloaking device, if that would be acceptable.
How large of a ship do you plan on installing?
Remind me again what class the Hera is.
It's an Akira. It's a fairly large ship.
An Akira class, Sub-Commander.
That's not a small ask.
Do I need to make a persuasion roll?
Yeah, you're gonna have to. This is going to be... This is probably a presence command roll with a difficulty of 2 and a threat spend of 3.
So that's a 14 for me. I don't think any of my values will work here. They're mostly immortal related values.
Yeah, then they probably won't help you here.
I will give you an extra threat for an extra die.
Got it.
Would the focus infiltration work here? Probably not.
No.
Alright. So 14. Well, a 3, a 7, and a 2. So I got 2 successes, I think. No, that's 3 successes.
Okay, you have 1 momentum. With that being the case, you are able to give the reason, and there's Commander, upon saying it's not a small ask, after, doing a little back and forth, finally lets out a sigh. I said it wasn't a small ask. I didn't say no. It will just take a little bit of time.
And think of it this way, if we're successful, you get your 2 scimitar classes back.
My government would be appreciative of that. We could ideally make a trade out of that. You get me my 2 warbirds back. And out of it, since I'm ripping a cloaking device out of a Valdor class ship to match an Akira class, you get my 2 scimitars back. I'll give Starfleet a Tavaro class cloaking device.
That sounds more than acceptable, Sub-Commander.
Understand, the Valdor class cloaking device has a few oddities to it.
Oh?
Well, cloaked. To avoid any extrasensory transmissions or reads, your shields will have to be down.
Understandable.
Additionally, Valdor class is more of a scout warbird more than it is anything else. The cloak is the most effective at sublight speeds. Engaging anything in warp would be ill-advised. Not to say that it can't be done, but it will create an echo effect that can be tracked.
I will keep that in mind, although I doubt we will be going to warp, because we will be trying to come upon a rogue planet, so... But I will make sure that the chief engineer of the Hera is made aware of the limitations of the cloak.
That is acceptable. And as far as a Romulan operating the cloak, I will take that offer as well. I can think of a few lieutenants who might fit the bill.
Just send me their profiles and whom to expect.
I will be in touch. I will go touch base with the commander of the Valdor.
I doubt they will be happy that they will be losing their cloak.
Well, if the reward that is promised is brought, their temporary ire will be worth the long-term jubilance.
Indeed. Jolan True, Sub-Commander.
You're on true, Commander. Right.
And Alaska will begin sending that information to the chief engineer of the Hera.
Okay. The chief engineer of the Hera, you really haven't interacted with much, given that the Hera is primarily more of a station-bound ship for the most part, aside from doing short runs of different missions here and there. And generally, it doesn't even require the station crew to operate most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But she is a Bajoran woman of absolutely fiery personality and aggression, standing at the imposing and intimidating height of 5'5", and wearing the engineering golds that have not been bothered to clean any of the grease or inner workings off of it. The sleeves notably have been modified to be, rather than the long sleeves, they're short.
Alaska takes one look at the uniform and just shrugs and goes, "You can't trust an engineer whose uniform isn't dirty."
She does notice your approach. Commander, I did not expect you to be coming here.
Well, we're having a last-minute addition added to the Hera.
Okay.
And Alaska hands the chief, the engineer, the chief, the data pad with the specs for the Valdor cloaking device.
This is a Romulan cloaking device.
Yes, it is being given to us for this mission to the rogue planet so that we can approach a little safer.
This isn't a Kira-class vessel.
Yes, with a much more power than a Valdor would have, since it is more of a scout ship. So, we should have the power to spare for the cloaking device.
Well, that would be true in theory, but you're adding a foreign system. Foreign system is just going to draw more power.
We have the example of the Defiant in incorporating the cloaking device into
It's
a
a miracle
Federation.
she didn't tear herself in half.
Well, that's because the Defiant was poorly constructed to handle its power at first, until Chief O'Brien got his hands on it. So you can use the basis of his notes to incorporate the cloaking device.
Yeah, I will, get it figured out, Commander. We will...
And by the way, we will be having a guest on board to operate the cloaking device in much the same way as the Defiant had when they initially had theirs.
Terrific. I'm going to be told how to maintain the power.
Well, they are supposed to be an expert in the cloak, so always trust your experts, Chief.
Yeah, sure. Alright.
Can I do an insight check on that?
Yeah. Yeah, you could do like a insight. It's probably insight security. Difficulty 1.
Well, that's again a 14 for me, so rolling. No successes.
Uh, there's there is something there. There's clear hesitance. It's not to the level of like what you would assume to be like bigotry or anything like that. It's just trepidation.
Hmm.
You're not really sure what the source of that trepidation is. As she kind of just works on installing and commanding a few ensigns to allocate different pieces and parts to make room for this impressively large device for what it is. I mean, it's about the size of it's probably about in today's standards, probably about the size of a dryer, like a large dryer. It's about that size, like pieces all around. If there's nothing else, Commander, I'll get on this.
And I will go meet our guest for this mission.
Good luck. Okay. Going off to meet this lieutenant. Definitely stern posture upon meeting them. You can tell. Notably, they're not wearing like the typical like officer garb for Romulan or anything. In fact, they're wearing what might be closer to a all like black and gray Starfleet uniform. Very close to it, at least in appearance. Much more civilian-esque. There's still the ranking stripes on the collar, but other than that, like you wouldn't be able to tell otherwise. Well,
Greetings, Lieutenant, and I wait for them to give their name.
they notably don't.
Alaska raises an eyebrow at that, but let me take you to where we're prepping the space for the cloaking device.
Please do.
And I will escort them to the engineering room.
Okay.
I assume a couple of my own security officers are following us.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
As you make it there, the engineer can hear the the patrolling engineer swear, and you hear like a clattering of like a spanner before there's a quick shout of to not let it. What you essentially it switches over to just Bajoran native before the rough translation more or less saying pick up the spanner before it drops into the fucking warp core. Before she notices the two of you and the pair of security. Oh, Commander, that was fast.
Romulans are nothing if not punctual, and I glance at Littleton. This is our expert in the cloaking device.
Cool. Leans back and goes underneath and is trying to presumably attach a few wires or isolinear chips or something along those lines. You have a very friendly crew, Commander.
Well, I have learned that it is best to let the engineers act as they want to. It leads to less arguments.
You were correct about that, Commander. Hey, expert, if the isolinear chip is flashing yellow, which one do I pull? Isolinear chip. Nope, got it. I feel like this will be a stressful experience for me.
I would think of it as a learning experience. Perhaps that's why your sub-commander chose you.
Maybe. I am uncertain.
Now, here is a question for you. Would you need to control the cloaking device from main engineering, or would you prefer to do it from the bridge?
It would be easier from the bridge. I could monitor all subsequent systems that way.
Then we will feed a line to the bridge then. And I look to the chief engineer.
Don't worry. It'll be a live feed. Every system, every subsystem will show up on the secondary science station.
Very good, Commander. Then I will leave you two to it. And I will point at one of the security officers. One of you stays with the lieutenant, and one of you stays with the cloaking device at all times.
Yes, sir.
And I will return to Horizon for the preparations for the mission. Oh, and gee, let me know when the device is ready to be tested. I think we would want to test it before we go into the rogue planet.
You mean into the lion's maw, where we might find out we get torn apart by disruptor blasts or anything of the like?
That is why we requested the cloaking device, Commander, so that we can go in sneakily.
She doesn't really respond to that. A few of the ensigns and like junior grade lieutenants kind of look around like almost apologetically. This seems to be a constant with her. This just seems to be her demeanor.
And Alaska is unfazed by the chief's demeanor because she's been around more than a few chief engineers.
Mm-hmm.
But she returns to Horizon Station after that.
Alright. Alright. Returning to Horizon Station. Is there any scenes that people would like to perform?
Well, Captain already took care of his scene, which was promoting Alaska. But he did put a note in the personnel file that Alaska has now been promoted to full commander status
Mm-hmm.
as of such and such date, along with myself being promoted to full fleet captain status.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and that's about it. While waiting for the mission to start, of course.
Alright. It takes about, I would say, actually, this is your call, Alaska, technically. If you get past the, primary defense, the orbital defense of the two scimitars and the Nightfall cruiser, do you have planned for ground assault? Because that would fall more under your purview.
I do. One, I would make sure that Hazard Team is on the Hera because they would be our kind of strike force at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And if possible, I don't know if Starfleet would approve of this or not, but she would request a similar team from the Klingons and the Romulans.
Okay.
Because this is a rogue faction that has elements of all three of the factions here at Horizon.
Yeah. They seem pretty willing to do that. It's each of the both groups have made pretty notable of they're all willing to offer like a strike team, but have kind of said maybe it shouldn't be any larger than like 10 or 12 per like team.
Mm-hmm. That was what Alaska was thinking. And I'm guessing the Romulan strike team is Riemann?
It is Riemann with a couple Romulans leading the helm of that.
She will make note of that, but to make sure that whatever quarters the Riemann contingent have the lights dimmed to their preferred level of brightness.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Apricity, West, or Phillips, or Alaska, is there any other scenes that need to happen or you think should happen?
And Lance
honestly,
Corporal,
I'm just. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say Lance Corporal West is coming with us.
Well, yeah, the Starfleet Marine Corps kind of makes sense.
This is like the one time where Lance Corporal West being here actually makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the lead up to actual go time, I'll just have my I'll go ahead and throw my body wherever we're eventually going to gather. Because I'm mostly just trying to pry around the edges of what is probably safe to look through, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
I want to know I want to know what I can get on this ship's actual like crew complement and the numbers that they should expect, and I also want to know how likely do you think it could be that I could just essentially force the security OS to update?
Huh. I don't think I've ever heard of wording it like that, but, let's see.
And obviously, if forcing the security system to update wouldn't get me the results that I am looking for, I could do any number of things that could, same effect.
Yeah.
I just want it to like shut down the security suite for like, even like 2-3 seconds, as long as I can coordinate the time with Alaska's security.
Yeah, I'd say you'd be able to at least see the outlines of it. You might be able to cut out the, any security feeds they might have for a couple seconds, yeah. It's not a lot of time, but it's enough to set up and create a surprise attack. As far as the varying ships and crew complements, the Netvar cruiser has a crew complement, just skimming through like average data. Its average crew complement is 1400, and the Scimitar's average crew complement is 750.
I'll pass along all of that information as well. Basically, anything. I'll basically be poking around for anything interesting on the computers that I can get to over the course of the time and forwarding any of it to the relevant upper management.
Okay.
Like, if it's more of a security thing, I'll probably send it to Alaska. If it's more of a, communications or cybersecurity thing, I'll probably send it to Alaska and Eshik, so forth and so on.
Alright.
I don't think that necessarily needs to be a scene unless I find something truly interesting. But
You don't really, aside from what you expect to see.
alright. Any scandals?
Scandals? Not really, no.
Unfortunate. How can an entire ship and there isn't like a single petty workplace incident?
There might be, but they're not on record. Alright. Ow, what the hell was that? I just got stabbed by something.
Cat whisker?
Nope.
Small Borg drone.
I hope not, but
Check for puncture wounds.
isn't that just a capitalist environment? Anyways. What the hell? Come on. Wow, that was interesting. Well, I figured out what I stepped on.
Or was that a Lego?
No, it's a fucking... I don't know what it... It's really small. I'm assuming it's like a hornet stinger or something. But after a lengthy amount of planning and prep, you are probably as prepped as you're going to be at this stage. The cloaking device is successfully installed, and the USS Hera has sent a message to Ops and all relevant superior staff that they are ready to get underway whenever.
Well, in that case, let's get going then. We got work to do.
Indeed, Captain.
Oh, we are on the Hera, right?
Yeah, you'll be on the Hera.
Okay. So I'm sitting in my chair, my captain's chair.
Yep.
And I would say to the helm, whoever's piloting the helm, probably not Nestor, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell disengage mooring and take us out.
Disengage mooring. Moving out, Captain.
Set a course for. Does it never have a name by any chance, or is
It
it
does
just?
not. It just has a location.
And I say where the location is and the coordinates, and I say take us there.
Yes, sir. They set the control on the L cars and slide their fingers up, and the star field begins to stretch before a warp field emerges as you begin traveling at FTL. So the con officer turns around and faces all of you. We're on our way to the nebula. Estimated time of arrival, 1 hour, 23 minutes, 13 seconds.
10 minutes before we arrive, drop us out of warp and begin and cloak us. And I look to the lieutenant, Romulan lieutenant.
Moving pretty fast here. This is a interesting development. I look forward to seeing how Starfleet operates on their missions.
Well, I never did promise boring. But do you have any advice for how to deal with the scimitars? I've heard their cloaks are a little more advanced than the ones we have on Hera.
Unlike Klingon vessels and most Romulan vessels, they can fire well cloaked.
That will be a problem if we get into a fight.
Well, let's hope we don't get into a fight then. We're depending on you to get the scimitars back.
Mm-hmm. Question. Are the scimitar cloaks still susceptible to tachyons?
Probably, yeah. The scimitar models that you've been shown are probably of an older model, so likely.
Alaska's already thinking of some strategies for dealing with the cloaks.
I can probably jam the cloaks as long as they don't block me out when they know that I'm here.
And I was also thinking of using tachyon bursts to try and at least briefly show the location of the ships.
As you go through the planning stages of the assault here.
Yeah, I'm staying on here, as you all probably. To nobody's surprise.
I will also give some orders for the Klingon contingent that we need to keep some members of the ground group at least alive for questioning.
There's a little disheartened groans, but they get it. Time passes as you are all... It's that weird space of it's a very tense situation. Should this assault go well, this nightmare with the inheritors is over. No one really breathes, it feels like, as the USS Hera drops out of warp 10 minutes prior to arrival as requested, and the Romulan lieutenant engages the cloak or makes the commands to do so. Cloak initiated. Cloak stable.
Continuous sensor sweeps as we enter the nebula. But make those scans passive so that we don't cause any alert trips.
There's a calm blip that comes from engineering. Captain, Commander, I am looking at something down here in the cloak. Something worth noting.
What are we looking at?
The Akira class isn't meant to use something with this. It's not meant to use something that has so much finesse to it.
Oh boy.
We have to
We're about to lose the cloak, aren't we?
No, we have to recalibrate it. It'll take only a moment, but it will require us to decloak for exactly 1.2 seconds.
I look to the sub-lieutenant, or rather the lieutenant, and go, would they be able to detect us in that amount of time?
If they're vigilant, yes.
I could ram through that security update now.
We might have to.
I mean, they could still look out the window, but unless somebody's looking out the window exactly at us in that 1 point... how long was that? I'm sorry?
1.2
1.2 seconds.
Apricity 1.2 seconds. Sorry.
So, 100 years for Apricity.
Okay. But yeah, do you want to do that now? It would mean I couldn't use it on you guys later if you needed it, but... I mean, I could try to use it again, but it would be significantly less likely to actually process.
I would think we would not want to be detected right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's early.
All right. Congratulations. Your OS needs to update to 69.4.
Wow. I know where you chose that number.
I wasn't trying to be subtle there.
Yeah. Yeah. As it as the calibration process happens, the engineer through the Vox. Everyone ready?
Let's do it.
Recalibrating.
Doctor, send your thing.
Alright, I will attempt to force their security systems to an update.
Okay. Lieutenant, you and I have to be absolutely synchronized here. And you will have to follow my lead and not the other way around, because that's the only way this one's gonna work. On my mark. 3, 2, 1. Mark. And you can feel this slight shift and groan in the ship before it turns out to this low, monotone hum and then just silence. Cloak recalibrated, sir. We are dead air again.
Alright, what nonsense did I just start?
It's not like the most update every security thing. It's more like
Yes, but I imagine those things are supposed to be on a schedule, so.
yeah, it's a little alarming. Effectively you're asking them to turn on the VPN. The con officer turns to the other officer and speaks to them. Alright. Here we go. Captain, Commander, with your permission, I'd like to dim or kill all exterior lighting and all out-facing decks and keep only emergency lighting on. I understand
Do
we're
it.
under a cloak, but should it fail, this is a secondary invisibility.
Go for it.
Give me 1/3 impulse burst. 10 seconds. 20-second pause, followed by 1/4. We'll drift into the nebula. I'll control the rest with thrusters, Captain, and it should be, even if they were to detect it, negligible interference.
Well, that works for me.
Is the nebula having any effect on our sensors at all?
It's having a little bit. It's not like Mutara Nebula bad, but it's... Short-range sensors and targeting is going to be a little difficult. It's not going to be super, super difficult, but it definitely won't be automatic. As you are looking through the view screen and drifting, invisible, you can see the massive Nagvar cruiser making a patrol round, and it's, as you move past it, it's very, very close to you. Maybe only about 800 meters away as you drift and use thrusters to move past it. The Akira, notably, is about half this thing's size.
Mm-hmm.
you're able to move very, very closely going through. Before the con officer. Okay. Here's where it gets risky. They adjust, and the slow approach towards the planet, and they are. This is an impressive skill by this con officer, as you're realizing they're doing a lot of the guidance and adjustments for high orbit with nothing but momentum and atmospheric thruster propulsions, as they are able to guide the Hera into a standard orbit. As you get an acknowledgement that you are in a standard orbit, the con officer leans back in their chair and just exhales, looking like they might be ready to pass out.
I will pat the officer on their shoulder and go, "Get yourself something to snack on."
Yes, sir.
I assume that we will be using the transporters to land our troops on, or are we going?
Probably have to. You can use a shuttle. The shuttle just won't be invisible.
We will use transporters rooms then, and Alaska will put out a call to all the strike teams to assemble in their respective transporter rooms.
Okay.
And Alaska very visibly has her usual rifle and lens on her eye for the rifle.
Okay. So if I understand the breakup of the crew correctly, it'd be Lance Corporal West and Leska on ground, Apricity and Captain Phillips on board the Hera?
Mm-hmm. Because Alaska is not letting the captain go on the ground.
Okay.
I don't need to be on the ground.
Yeah, you're a menace no matter where you are. As the as you begin beaming down, and funnily enough, the Akira class has 3 transporter rooms. Very, very helpful. Each strike team has picked a point on the planet to infiltrate from. That way you have this 3-pronged maneuver happening. As that happens, and you are able to beam down, it's a very... It's similar to Earth in a lot of ways, kind of like the deep rainforest of the Pacific. So you begin moving through, and you can see like shapes of compounds and facilities off in the distance. For Captain Phillips and Pricity, on the main view screen, you have each and every member of your particular strike team, and have their vitals playing across the screen. Heart, like BPM and heart pressure and everything there.
And you can also see through Alaska's eyepiece as well.
Yep.
Added character down to how President Obama feels when he was staring at when he was in the war room. Yeesh.
As all of that, this sort of quiet, there's the slight, sound of, like, light crunching
Sorry.
under feet that you can hear the strike team moving. A little bit of splashing of dampness. As you can hear one of the strike members call out, "Facility spotted.
I
82
will
meters
look.
away."
I will look through my eyepiece and see what I can see.
There are patrols going around. The patrols are uniform, and the first thing you notice, Alaska, that makes this an immediately alarming to you, and realizing how difficult this is going to be, the way they patrol and the way they communicate with each other is very cohesive.
Almost like a hive mind kind of mentality.
Not really a hive mind, it's just they're very synchronized with each other.
Any patrols that are out by themselves, like alone, that we might be able to breach the security to get inside? I'm basically looking for any windows and stuff.
You can see some small, like, slits from it. But, God, the fucking cat. There's not really any windows for it. It's more,
Bunker slits.
yeah, more bunker slits, and there are some groups that are a little far off from the others, for sure.
Can I get a sense of how often they check in with each other to see if there would be maybe a window where it would be good to take out a group to go through that way?
They communicate with each other on about a 5-minute basis. That's not a lot of time.
No, it is not. What do you think, West? Should we try and take out a patrol to get through?
A gap in between where they're walking.
Yeah, effectively only about 5-minute space.
I'm not articulating well. Sorry.
You're good.
The gap that I'm looking for is basically if there's a place where we can slip through without taking them out, but not be noticed. Basically doing the whole stealth approach.
Yeah, there's areas where there's probably, where you could do that. The only downside to that is you can find openings. The openings to enter into the facility, you have no idea what's beyond that threshold. You know there's entry points, and you could probably make it in those 5 minutes. It's just what's in there is a mystery.
Wes will take a look around and say, quite frankly, I don't like any of the options. We take them out and then we have a 5-minute timer. We try to sneak in without taking them out and we're going in blind. Personally, I prefer to go in blind rather than risk taking more than 5 minutes to accomplish the task. Unless there's a way to record them somehow speaking and then have a playback automatically trigger when the comms are activated.
That would take more time than we have, I think. Are there any loading bays or a storage facility?
There is actually. That one's gonna be just as hard to access. It's just it's a little larger, and it doesn't seem like it's going down. Rather, it's just more of a warehouse, like a rough warehouse.
And there's a fence all around it, or is it up against, say, a mountainside or something?
It's kind of up against like a cave entrance, I guess.
I will point to the storage facility. I think that might be our way in.
Ready when you are.
And we will start heading towards the storage facility, looking for a way inside. I assume that would be a roll of some kind.
It would be. This would probably be... You're trying to be kind of stealthy here, so...
Control security would be my guess.
Yeah, control security is what I was thinking. Difficulty.
Well, I have 14 in that.
I have 16.
Then we'll let you do it. So I have 2 things for security: collaboration and cautious. Would one of these help, West?
I would think collaboration.
Collaboration, yeah.
Okay. I also have advisor.
Both would be applicable here.
So how do those help?
Let me double check.
I think advisor is a reroll.
Advisor is a reroll, yes. I believe cautious is also a reroll.
Only if you spend a momentum.
Yes, hold on. I can find it.
It's one of the things that I wish that I took bold security instead of cautious security, because we have a bad habit of not earning momentum.
Well, you can give the GM threat for an extra die.
Yeah.
I thought that was only if I took the bold security one.
Nope, that's
I would have been doing that way more often.
No, it's just a core mechanic.
Gotcha.
You're good.
Okay, so advisor allows me 1 free reroll.
Yep.
And then the collaboration is what?
Give me a second. It's wait. Nope. So, you can choose a single discipline when you select this talent. Whenever an ally attempts a task using that discipline, you spend 1 momentum immediately to allow them to use your score for that discipline and one of your focuses.
Gotcha. So collaboration is actually not beneficial.
Not in this
Or,
case.
well, no,
Well,
for
it is.
for...
It has its potentials here.
Yep. So I will give you one threat to get an extra die since it's a difficulty 3.
Yep.
I like my chances, but with a 3 difficulty, I would need at least 1 crit, and I don't like those chances. And of course, I get a 1, a 2, and an 8.
Okay.
So 5 total. So that actually gives us 3 momentum? No, 2 momentum.
2, so you have 3 now. Because they earned momentum earlier. So there's 3 momentum there. But that clears it. Using skills you haven't had to use in a while, Wes, you were able to kind of take the lead and have this strike team follow you, and are able to get into this kind of like storage facility, where you still have to be very careful, but at the very least you're not trying to dodge someone at every point in turn.
Mm-hmm.
And inside here there is tons of like boxes and crates that are sealed up.
So now
Question.
that they're in a... Oh, sorry?
Would my eyepiece also have a scanner attached to it?
No.
Okay.
So now that they're in a place where they can, like, hide in a safety crate if they really need to,
Mm-hmm.
can I start wreaking havoc?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with the wrong group.
Well, okay, remember, it's I can't go full Hal. I am at the end of the day a pacifist and a doctor who is attempting to prevent harm.
I know, but one of my focuses is ordinances, blowing stuff up.
Oh, you're better where you are. I am doing this entirely virtually. As my mobile platform,
Oh, okay.
I'm literally fucking scrolling through my data pad right next to the captain, like
Gotcha.
cool as a cucumber.
Just
But
threading
yes.
them.
I would like to be a distraction. I would like to be a fantastic distraction.
Okay. You are definitely successful in doing that. You can hear, your group can hear the slight shouts of confusion as, like, certain, technological, like, implements are
Yeah, I don't
not
necessarily want
behaving
them,
they
like,
want them to.
running around
Well, no.
willy-nilly.
They're not running
I want
around,
them
they're just
all-
frustrated.
Yeah, I want them all very focused on what the fuck their computer is currently doing.
It's, what you've effectively done to confuse them and truly cause a bit of irritation is you've given them the beach ball of death.
I'll also, I'll leave this up to whatever you and Paco want to do, but if Neshik wanted to have, actually written some sort of virus or whatever, I would have done that now.
Okay. While that's happening, you can... Alaskan West, you can kind of hear the slight shouts of, irritation that are following, simply because some of their, like, technology is just not participating the way they want it to now.
I will also take that distraction myself to start actually wiggling my fingers into their security.
Okay.
Metaphorically speaking. Digitally speaking.
Artificially speaking, one might say.
Artificially speaking, any could say.
But, yeah, and within this store facility, there's the crates and the various boxes, as well as minor, like, farming implements around. That's at least what West and Alaska would see.
I will point to one of the hazard team, scan one of the boxes and see what they're storing in them.
Sure. As they scan it, they stop for a moment and then scan it again.
Lieutenant,
This is really bad. We should not engage. Commander, if I may have your permission, I would like to communicate a trinary link between all assault teams.
do so.
This is the Squad 1 Hazard Team, Strike Force, USS Hera. If you can prevent it, do not engage against enemy combatants in hand-to-hand combat. Do not engage. I repeat, do not engage.
What kind of stimulants are they using, Lieutenant?
Well, it looks like they have some augmentive DNA and Ketracel White.
Alaska, that's out of low growl at that. Alaska Tahara, did you get that?
Captain Phillips, you definitely got that. Same with you, Adversity. You both got that.
Boy.
Hold on.
That's just what we need.
Lieutenant, do we have any charges?
Commander, if we plant charges, they either will have to be done manually, which requires close proximity, or they're going to have to be done remotely, which will potentially destroy our presence of secrecy here.
Because if possible, when we're done here, I want to destroy the supply of this drug.
Believe me, I want to get rid of it as much as you do.
Am I near one of the crates or boxes that this stuff is stored in?
Yeah, you're near one of them.
Is it a crate or is it like a cardboard box of something, some sort?
It's more like a crate, like a metallic storage crate.
She will, as deftly and silently as she can, take one of her knives from her back holster and try and quietly pry open one of the boxes.
Okay.
And what do I see inside?
Hold on. A lot of hyperspace.
Alaska will snag a couple for Apricity to look at later.
Okay.
Gathering some
Can I
samples.
gauge anything visually? Is it something like super flashy and distinctive?
Yeah, you
Is it
can.
glowing green?
It's not glowing green. Um, it is, however, it is providing. This came. These hypersprays are particularly distinct. Um, they're like off-market brands, and they're very, very connected to Gnostican piracy and Orion syndicacy.
Of course.
Class.
I'll be bringing a couple of these to you once we get done here, Doctor.
Sure, yeah, might as well utilize what I can.
As as you're seeing all of that, and you continue down on the surface, communication above, between the Presidy and Captain Phillips. The direct feed and comm immediately stops. You can only see the vitals now. The vitals are still normal as they can be with the situation, but the con officer and Neshik quickly turn around, confused. The a science officer off in a different station says one of the most alarming things you probably could have said. They probably could have said, Captain,
Mm-hmm.
we have a ship dropping out of low warp.
Ah, shit.
Starboard bow. Drop our warp in 3, 2, 1. And it's another scimitar, but it's a scimitar class that you are not familiar with. A newer variant for sure, a retrofit of some kind. And it looks almost insectoid-like and intimidating as hell.
I thought this was going to be easy.
The ship's computer immediately just flashes into itself into a red alert status as the con officer turns to you in absolute alarm. Captain, they're charging
Yes.
weapons.
Ah, are they aiming at us?
I don't know what else they'd be aiming at.
Good point. Good point. Good point. This is good. This is gonna be some shit. Can't get a hold of strike team, so they have no idea what's going on.
No.
Can't hack that
I'm
one.
currently attempting to essentially. Do I still have connection to the Romulan ship?
Limited, but yes.
Hmm.
Try to see if you still have communications with that ship or Presidy. Try to see if you can try to send Alaska a message warning them that we're not going to be able to help them for right now because we have a warbling or
Yeah, I'm
Romulan ship
essentially
with another.
going. I'm sorry. I'm essentially going from Mac to Linux back to Mac. But is there any way I can use my connection to the ship to get a hold of Apricity either through her comms or her
Alaska, you mean?
data pad or something? Or Alaska, yeah, not Apricity. I am Apricity. Apricity is
Existentialism.
me.
Um, yes, but it would be like a quick data transfer packet. You probably can't do more than that right now. Just enough
All right.
of a blurb to get them a situation, but other than that,
That means Alaska is getting one of my infamous memos.
Oh no.
It is formatted exactly the same as if it was a normal day on Horizon Station, just updating you as to what is currently going on with us on the Hera. And informing you that we will not be able to immediately extract you. Please apologize and sit tight and try not to get yourselves killed.
Upon reading that, there is an immediate yellow flashing alarm that happens on the facility, but the up in high orbit, this new variant of the scimitar is charging weapons, and the con officer turns as it begins charging. Captain, we have to drop the cloak.
Right. Percy, did you send the message out?
Yep.
Okay. Drop cloak, raise shields, and weapons.
Drop cloak, shields, weapons, red alert. As you are able to do it as it begins just a barrage of disruptor fire, and it begins blasting into the shields. It's even punching through some of the shields as
Shit.
you can feel almost the intensity of this ship hitting this vessel, and to punch through the initial attack here, this display of force. There is a section of the hull. It's not a huge section, but it's something worth noting. This thing, though it can't punch through the shields entirely, it can do it. And if it hits the hull, it does not seem to care about a blade of hull armor at all. As there is a flood of tech report and system report, casualty reports, things coming through all at once. The flashing red and the LCAR's alarm going through. As it begins this imposing charge of another shot.
So I look at the person that says, send your medical teams to those damaged areas. Helm, return fire.
Turning fire, Captain. And as the Hera unleashes a full phaser spread, we will end the episode there.
God damn it.
Dun dun dun.